Hello and welcome to Cutter Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV, Upper Mississippi River Valley. And since last episode, we finished up getting all the bales off of the field way over there. We're all done with the grass work, and I've been doing just a little bit of moving the time forward, getting the animals fed and stuff. And we're into April now, which is great, or we were in April to begin with. We're at the end of April, and we're actually going to move the time forward here in just a second. I just want to get this last load of feed over here into the barn, because we're trying to top off all of our barns here. If we come in here and take a look at the animals, you can see we're pretty nearly topped off on this barn. I think this is actually the barn I'm dumping into right now. We're pretty well topped off, and this other barn isn't so full. However, these animals are still pretty young, and they haven't graduated into their full cow status, so we're not really making a lot of food here. In fact, these are still marked as heifers because they haven't hit that first reproduction cycle yet, so we're not even generating milk on any of these cows. Really, the only ones that we've been making any money on is this first barn now, which is fine. We're about to really break into getting a lot more money per cycle, which is going to be amazing because as we move through the month of April here, you'll notice on the finance tab, we no longer have a loan. So we have completely paid off all of our outstanding debts. And we have also, if we look in this menu, gotten rid of all of our leased items. So we're no longer seeing anything hit in the bank account that's going to cause us to go negative in the money every day. I mean, there's a little bit of general farm fees that we're going to end up paying, I think, for some of the buildings and stuff, but that's about it, which is really great. It means that now we can start really affording to buy those upgrades, get some shiny new equipment when we want it, pretty much do whatever we want. And this is always kind of one of the goals in my series, is to get to that point where we're not only running a successful farm, but we're really starting to hit the profit point. So we're not getting a whole lot of TMR made out of our production chains here. If you look at the production menu here, I've got just a little bit of silage and hay left. I did end up purchasing some more silage and hay bales just to make sure that we were going to be able to keep going, because we're not going to do another cutting of hay until July. In fact, July is the next big point for selling our soybeans as well. So there's not a whole lot to do on the farm here between now and July. Maybe spray for some weeds, but even that I don't know that we're going to have to do, because we did plow up all of our cornfields, if I'm not mistaken, and I think that primary tillage got rid of the chance of any weed spawning in those fields. So let's go ahead and sleep, which I think I have to, get out of the vehicle for. Let me see, is it Shift Z? I think it's Shift Z. Yeah, there we go. And we'll officially move into the next month here, which is going to advance our crop growth times, and it's going to show us our daily costs and income. So as you can see here, animal upkeep cost us a little bit there. I'm not sure exactly what all that is. I think there's a fee for like filling up water and stuff. I don't know what's going on with that. But we've got $286,000 now after moving forward just one day. So our milk prices are really good, and it really offsets all of this money that we're spending on feed. You can see that we still have a fair amount of feed, but this barn over here, man, we just burn through this food. So I've got enough to get a whole month forward in this barn right now, but this feed value was a little bit higher the other day, so I think we got to keep our eyes on this. However, I'm going to keep moving time forward here, probably a bit off camera, since it's just going to be a lot of me bringing feed around to the different barns over and over and over again to keep them going as we move the time forward here. And we're going to check back in probably in June, I'm thinking. If we look at the map here, I'm just going to double check. if we've got any weeds. I don't see any weeds in our fields outside of these little tiny areas that we missed when we were plowing, which I'm not too worried about. So our fields look good from a weeds perspective, and so we are just waiting for things to grow. If I look at the precision farming side of things, our pH values are okay. We probably need to get some lime spread on these grass fields after the next cutting, but I think they'll be good for now. And our nitrogen is in a decent spot on all of these fields here. This is the field that I don't think we had things quite set up right for spreading that slurry on. Maybe I'll take a second pass at that real quick while we're here thinking about it, and just see if we can get those nitrogen values up a little bit on this little field here. But I think that some of those red areas are actually the spots underneath where we've grown the farm. No, there's some red all the way around. So we'll see if we can fix that here real quick with the manure spreader. But then I think it's just going to be time to move the clock forward into, honestly, really July, I think, is our next check-in point. That's when we're going to mow again, and that's when we're going to be able to start selling those soybeans. So here we go. I'm going to just turn this thing on, and we're going to go to town, see if I can get the nitrogen level up here. It is starting to turn orange in these areas, which is perfect, and that's exactly what we were hoping for. So this is going to raise this up in all these areas that I missed the first time around that we did this, since we didn't have the precision farming data for this field. It's the little things like that I've got to remember to pay attention to. We've gotten a little bit of the rust knocked off as we've gotten back into the game over the last few episodes here. That's what happens when I take a nearly 4-month break. I think I got 2 or 3 episodes recorded in 4 months when we were away for a bit there. So I'm excited to be back and knocking the rust off here, remembering how things work. And next up on this series, man, we're going to have so much money available for upgrades finally. I don't even know what we should upgrade first. I would love to hear in the comments what you guys think we should do to expand the farm in this series next. I'm not sure what my goals are past this point. My initial goal was to get all of our cow barns filled up with cows. I want to see how much money we make per day once all of the barns are full with productive cows. And yeah, I just wanted to see if we could actually get out of debt and keep things going. We did start this save off from our Farmville, North Carolina save. We brought some assets over with us, and I think that when we do wrap this series up eventually, we will bring the assets from this series forward into the next one, which means we're going to have to go after a very large farm setup next, which I'm excited for. I'm not sure what map we're going to try and tackle that with, but I would love to continue to get into a big farming again. I've gotten reacquainted with Horseplay and Auto Drive in the last little bit here as well, and so I'd love to find a farm or a map that's got a farm set up, or maybe we'll build our own that has some space so that I can really go to town and get our automation going and see if I can run a large scale operation with lots and lots of big equipment. I've always had a lot of fun doing that. So I think that's my goal, is of where to take this series next as we look for potentially a new farm to expand into. And I'm loving this digestate going a lot farther than the slurry used to go. So this is going to work out great for us here. I think I've pretty much got everything here. I'm going to take one more turn back up this way just so I can see the grass a little bit better. Don't want to be spreading on the, whoops, I'm getting my joystick all confused. I don't want to be spreading all over the driveway there. And yeah, I did miss just a little bit here, I think, so we're going to run it down there. I'm seeing an application rate of 0 right now, which means we're not actually applying any slurry anywhere here, but I think as this widens out just a little bit, yeah, there's a little sliver of area that we'd missed here. If I'd probably lined up a bit better on the way back down, we could have done that in a single pass, but that's all right. It's not taking too long. We'll get this all folded up. We'll bring it back up there and fill it back up with digestate just to make sure we've got the capacity in our BGA to continue producing digestate as much as we can. I did sell a couple of loads of slurry off camera as well because our BGA was full and I had 2 full tankers of slurry out of the animal pens, and I just wanted to free up a bunch of room in the animal pens because I knew that we were going to be moving the time forward here to get to July in this episode, and that is going to make my life a little bit easier here now that we've kind of knocked this stuff out. Is I can just jump in and start moving time forward and just worry about feeding and not all the other little side jobs, because it does tend to really bog things down when you've got to keep jumping back and forth between a bunch of little repetitive tasks. And I'll see if I can get this thing backed in. The one thing I do like about this articulated tractor is I can really crank these trailers into a tight spot backing up without too many problems. There we go. And refill. Perfect. So with all of that out of the way, I'm going to take one last look at our animals here to make sure that our feed numbers look appropriate, and we will get things moving and grooving here, and I'll check back in with everyone in July. Well, folks, we're not even into June yet. We're almost done with May. I've had to bust out the semi and the forage trailer here to help keep up with all of the feeding that's going on the farm right now. I've got the other feed cart working on an automated loop, and then I've been jumping in here and running this into both this barn and this barn because they're eating less food than barn B over here, where we've got our auto drive worker going with the modified feed wagon here. Ironically, the feed wagon that should be smaller, but after I've done editing it and all the tweaks that we made to it, is actually a larger capacity than this semi-trailer. So this is working out pretty well for us. And the other problem that we kind of ran into is we did not have nearly enough feed. I have been buying bales left and right. Luckily, we've got plenty of money coming in as we move forward, but I've just been every time I get a chance coming in here and buying stacks of bales and keeping this TMR facility moving. We've got a couple I bought bales too soon after a stack that bounced over here. That's all right. We'll just keep it moving. The money's not really a problem. As you can see, we're already up to 500K just pushing things through. And the other thing that we've done is we've actually been more than keeping up with the biogas plant, and our digestate was starting to get full. So we've kicked the worker off here on putting down a bit more slurry out in this large grass field, because I don't think it has a negative effect on the grass having too much nitrogen, and we may end up putting some corn out in this field at some point and kind of rotating between our grass and our corn. And so I figure, why not get that nitrogen level bumped up here while we've got the digestate to spread, and we've got the time to spread it. And in the far outside of the field there, you can see right along the road, I've got the semi-trailer sitting there, and we've chucked that full of digestate, which is letting me reload on the edge of the field here rather than having to drive this big slow tractor all the way back up to the biogas plant. So that's been working out really well here for us. With all of that catch up out of the way, though, you can see we've been keeping the barns full of feed. We're starting to stack up on the slurry, though, with my semis busy moving stuff around, getting this digestate trailer out here and running one of them with the feed. I've lost the ability to use one of those trailers to move slurry around, and, well, really the biogas plant is backed up anyway. So we're going to start running into a slurry problem. I'm going to have to start hauling some of that back up to town and selling it off just to make sure it's not going to waste at some point here. But hopefully we've got another month in us before we have to get to those drastic measures. Now, since I'm down here on the correct end, I'm going to catch this guy, and we're going to go up here and refill our digestate since we're on the correct end and not too far away from this trailer. It works out really well. My only complaint is I think it's the trailer, not the slurry spreader. The unload speed on that thing is atrociously slow. So when we come up here to refill, it's going to take a minute. Now, I don't know if it's going to refill without a vehicle attached to it. This is the first time I'm doing it after getting rid of the attached vehicle. So I'm gonna try this again. We're gonna try and swing up here, get a little bit closer to it, and see if we can find the zone. Yeah, we're gonna need to attach a semi to this trailer in order to unload out of it, it would appear. Just try both sides to make sure oh, no, wait. I saw it go up. Oh, there we go. We just needed to be a smidge closer to it. Would you look at that? All right. Well, this is going to work out perfectly. We'll sit here and let this thing refill. As you can see, it's going to take a few minutes. And I'm going to just keep moving the time forward. We're in a pretty good spot. Like I said, we got to get all the way to July before we can do anything else. So here's to moving the clock forward. We're back. We're in the middle of June, and I went ahead and bought another semi just because it's actually easier to run this trailer out into the field wherever we run out of digestate and get him refilled. So even though it's sitting idle here on the end of the field most of the time, I'm just finding this a whole lot easier to run out there. And we have been just running the feed situation here on the farm. I have to say I can run it about 120-ish and keep up with everything when I was doing it myself. But we did end up buying another feed mixer and hooking that up to the John Deere 4440. So I've got two of them running around here on auto drive somewhere, taking care of these main barns. That way I don't have to worry about it at all. Yep, we've got the John Deere right in here. Now this one doesn't get used up nearly as much because these cows aren't yet taking that much feed because they still haven't hit that reproduction stage. But this particular tractor, if I hadn't slowed down time just now, runs nearly constant, keeping this fed. So that's pretty good. Everything runs pretty smoothly on 120. And then what we've been doing manually here, much like last time we checked in, is I've been running the semi through this other barn just because the way that it's situated, getting auto drive to make this tight curve and come through this really narrow door is just not gonna be terribly easy. So I've been doing this one manually because it's easy enough for me to get the semi to pull through here. I just have to take the long way around. But as you can see, not a lot of feed necessary at the moment. And I did end up selling off a big chunk of our digestate a while back. We got full, just not using it fast enough. So I just came in and changed the output mode to sell. It sold off a full stack of digestate here, which, if I'm not mistaken, was worth like $100 and something thousand. And now we're up to just short of $1 million in the bank. We're definitely going to pass $1 million up here well before we get to July. I just wanted to take a moment and catch y'all up because I feel like I've got a lot of time passing, but we're not really doing a whole lot other than watching these feed wagons move by and trying to keep track of the slurry spreading that we've got going on out here in the field. As you can see, it's making really good progress here. I want to finish this up though before July, because I think July is the final stage where I'm going to be able to cut this again, and I'd like to have all of the nitrogen applied before we get to that final stage. So I'm just gonna let this thing finish off camera here. He's got looks like about a half an hour to go, and I will check back in here as we actually hit the month of July. We are finally here in July. You can see we've got $1.7 million of cash that we've managed to work onto. And I've got most of the stuff back up here at the farm. I'm filling up this semi-trailer with some digestate. This one's going to end up just holding a whole bunch of this until we get into our next field that we need to spread on. And then I'm dumping a load of slurry over here. It looks like we're good to go. So I'm going to get this thing back over here and filling up, because we've got a fair amount of slurry in all three of these animal pens. They're not really full, but there's between the three of them probably another full semi-load to contend with. And I always like to keep these machines moving. I think this is one of those jobs that I do most of the time off camera. We've got both of the feed wagons lined up there waiting for feed. We have run out of materials, and I haven't bought a whole lot more because I knew we were moving into July and we were going to be able to start chopping grass again, or mowing grass, cutting hay. I don't know, all kinds of different ways we could call that. But we'll keep this moving, and let's just tab over here. I'm trying to remember what else we've got going on. We have a little bit of feed in here. I think this is full, so that's good to go. And then if we come out to the field here, I did manage to finish spreading all of that slurry on the fields here. Let me just see, now that we've moved into July, I'm going to unfold this and just take it around this corner. I see some orange bits here on the map, and I'm wondering if I can take care of this, put it up in maybe about 12, and it should let me just put a little bit more down on here. Every time the growth stage of the field changes, it also allows you to put more of the slurry down, and this is going to let me get up here a little bit higher. Now I don't need to do the whole field. I just wanted to take care of some of these orange spots. It looks like there's a few spots though on the map that don't update really well when you go through and do this, so I'm not going to sit here and do this whole area. We've got more than enough nitrogen on here to cover what we need from the grass, so I'm going to just bring this out back towards the entrance, and we'll bring this up to the biogas plant, and I'm going to top it off with digestate as well, just so that we've got the maximum capacity possible for the biogas plant to keep moving here. And as soon as I start cutting some hay on one of these fields, we'll be able to get out here and start spreading again, and that's going to let me continue to use up this digestate. So let's get this shut down, and we'll bring it back up to the yard. Actually, you know what? We're not going to bring it back up to the yard. We'll bring the semi out here when we're ready for it. So I'm going to just park this right down here in the corner because I think we're going to mow this field first. That way I can get the slurry spreader moving on it right away. And that's gonna make our lives a lot easier, and this big field is gonna generate a lot of grass. Last time we used the grass to make haylage. This time I think what we're gonna do is actually turn it all into hay, and then I can just buy silage bales as I need, because we had to buy a lot of both to get through from the last cutting. I thought sure we would have had enough from that cutting to handle the feed until the next cycle, but it just did not happen. We ended up buying a lot of silage, but also some hay here to get us to July. And so I want to see what we can do to at least keep up with one of those. I want to see if I don't turn any of this grass into haylage, if we just have it all be hay, if we're able to keep up with that, and it's just a matter of having enough silage to continue to get through to the next cutting. Now, what that also means is that we definitely won't have enough to make it through the winter. Now, obviously, with 1.7 million in the bank, even while buying feed, it wasn't a problem. It's just kind of a hassle to have to keep buying. The whole point was to hopefully have the farm become self-sufficient from a generating feed for the cattle perspective. That's the main reason why we planted all of our other fields with corn on them, so that we can get the maximum amount of silage available. So this is going to be an experiment of this crop cycle. We've got at least one more cutting of grass that we'll get off of these fields here before the end of the year. And just doing the math, I think honestly it'd be better if I did 4 cuttings and did 2 of them on the short cycle and 2 of them on the long cycle. I kind of mathed that out, and I think I would get a higher yield, but right now we're just going to focus on our second long cycle here. That you can still see the course from the slurry spreader loaded up there, which is actually fine. We'll leave that there. And I'm going to load up a course for the mower. And I have the conditioner installed, so we should be good to go. Start this off on first waypoint and turn it loose. Now, I took a look at our available rake options here, and I'm a little bit on the fence as to which windrower we should use. I was thinking about getting out a merger, but they're not very wide, and what I really want to do is have it merge back into the middle so that I can run the baler on the same course as the windrower. And so I'm tempted to actually grab this nice big cloth to do that. Now, the problem with the windrowing, though, is I have to match that up with our mower here. So let me see if I can find that swather head. Maybe it's under mowers. And so this is 4.9 meters. So ideally, I would be looking for something that's a multiple of 5 here for the windrower, like a 10 or a 15 or a 20. And so this is 15. The problem is I think I'm doing 4 headland passes, and that would mean that I would need to only do 3 headland passes. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this guy here real quick. And what I want to do is come back in here, and I want to create a job. I'm going to put the field position back here where we were. I'm going to generate for 3. This will be 15 meters wide then. And if I generate that course, it should start us in the same spot. But when I look at this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell, but I'm pretty sure this is the 3rd headland. So I think it all updated correctly. And instead of having to restart back there at the beginning, I should now just be able to start at the nearest waypoint right where we're at and have it continue around the field now. So it's one of those no harm, no foul situations. And then we're going to go ahead and pick up that windrower officially now. And yes, this is a little bit of a European style piece of equipment, but the more I look around, the more I realize I've seen some of these in the US now. And I think I need to reassess what kind of equipment I'm seeing out in the fields more recently, because I think more and more there's some of these brands that I didn't see back when I was farming 25 years ago that are becoming much more prevalent in parts of the US. So I'm excited by that because it gives me some more options, and this should be a nice piece of equipment. I am going to use the 8RX. It might be a bit of a oversized tractor to run on a windrower, but both of our other tractors are about to be busy keeping up with the feed as soon as I get some more hay into this harvest store. So I do want to keep our feed machines moving and grooving here. So this leaves the giant 8RX as our next available tractor. It wouldn't look quite so oversized if we didn't have these big tanks on there, I think. That's all right. Let's see if we can back this in here. I'm sure that 4440 could probably pull this, although I don't know, this is a pretty big rake. There we go, all hooked up. Now let's bring this out to the field. The other problem with this is I can't really start the windrower until the mower is completely done with the headland passes, and even then I'm not sure how fast this windrower is going to go. So we are going to probably need to give that mower a chance to get ahead of us a bit. That's all right. I'll just get it out here and unfolded. That way it's over here and in position, and I can kind of jump between some jobs here while we continue to get everything all set up. And I am going to bale these up again because, A, we didn't get that many bales off of the field. It was pretty manageable, I felt like. And B, once we do get the harvest store filled up, because we're going to be doing all the fields as bales, I want to be able to put them in that bale storage building, which I thought we were going to do last time, but we didn't end up actually needing to do that. And while we wait for that stuff to happen, I'm going to go ahead and pull the slurry tanker around here, and we'll get the next pit moving. You can see that we filled this up about a third, which is perfect because all three of these pits had about the same amount of material in them. And so this is going to let me go ahead and fill this up completely between these three pits, I'm pretty sure. And I suppose now is a good time to also grab this digestate trailer, and I'll bring this out to the field edge. We're not going to need this one for a little while longer, but it is completely full, so we might as well get it up here and ready to top off that slurry spreader in the field. I might as well do that. We've got so many gallons of digestate in this thing. It is an unrealistic capacity. It's got 132,000 gallons, which I think the slurry spreader only holds 10,000. So we've got 13 loads in here, which means that we will have no problems completely doing all of the fields that we've got with the amount of digestate I've got in this semi, I'm pretty sure. And I have discovered that this thing will overload into the slurry spreader if we back up to it. So let's give that a try. I've had a little bit of issues with sometimes it doesn't work right, but sometimes it seems to be working as intended, where if I back this thing straight up to something that needs to be filled, when I get decently close to it, I'll get the overloading option, which is super awesome. And I cranked up the speed on this accidentally to be a ridiculous amount. I went in to increase it a little bit, and I think I did it way too far. So as you can see, we're down 2% of our digestate here. And if I jump over into, whoops, wrong vehicle, this thing, we're completely topped off, which is great. And it looks like we're on our second headland pass here with the swather. It's going to take a while for this guy to do his thing. I suppose at some point, if we're going to start doing the windrowing, that I could get 3 of these to run and do one headland pass with each of them and just have like a small fleet, and then I could follow right behind with the windrower. I think that's going to be the better play here in the long run. Maybe we should set that up now. What do you guys think? All right, let's do that. Let's get 3 more of these swathers. I've got the Massey Fergusons. Let's see what we can do here. Although realistically, we could upgrade to this big M at some point, but we're using these now. Let's just double down on this, and we can't be seen with a case on the farm. So we're going to grab this. I'm going to put GPS on all 3 of them. Just, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be cheap. I was going to say we've got the money, but you know what? Let's not. And we'll put these tires on. Looking good. By 1. By 2. And I didn't even think about it. Yeah, that's a problem. We have got the sell point here in the bale spot. Let me run over here and reset this real quick. There we go. And I'll see if I can get these guys off of here. There we go. And I'm gonna need a mower. And we'll get 2 of these. Perfect. Now let's go hook this up. We'll get them out here on the field, and I'll grab that other guy, and we'll completely redo our course play course for the second time, getting this field started off. I think in the big picture we're going to be happier for it, though. It's going to make our lives a little bit easier. Yeah, it looks like I'm coming up here at just the right time to grab this guy before he continues on his way any farther. We'll be able to start this all over. We're going to have 1 or 2 inefficient passes here, because I think with the new course, I'm going to want to get these guys all kind of going at the same time. So that when we need to keep up with the swather behind, that we're not in an awkward spot. So I'm going to leave this guy here, and I'm going to bring the next one out real quick, and then I'll have all 3 of them there, and I can get the courses going, kind of copy them and space them out so that they run as a unit there around the field, and hopefully space them out in the right way so they're not getting stuck on each other. Yeah, maybe I should have started those guys out a little bit ahead. We'll figure it out. So let's see if I can figure this out. It's been just a minute since I've done a multi-course, or multi-vehicle course. So if we open the generator and I say I want 3 tools, and they're each going to do 1 headland pass, I don't think I need to adjust anything else. I think they'll just work. And then if I jump back out of here, all right, we've got nearest waypoint left, first waypoint, okay, first waypoint left, center, right. So I want this guy to start on the left, and then I want this guy, oops, come back. I need to copy your course now, and I think that same copied course will stay here for everybody. So now I want this guy to go center at the first waypoint, and then this copied course should still be here, yep, for this guy. So I'm going to paste that in, and he's going to go right at the first waypoint. There we go. And ideally these guys should space themselves out, if I remember right. Uh-oh, what's he doing? Oh, he's got it. I'm nervous for nothing. Perfect. And then this guy is going to need to do the same thing. So I'm going to have this guy, he's going to run around the same exact course, but on the center. And in theory, he should have enough width to grab what all 3 of these guys are doing, and then everybody stays on the same course. And I can also then put the baler on the same course in the center. Now I'm gonna actually wait to do this until those guys go around 1 full time here. So let me just circle this back around and find a good spot to leave myself on this side grass. And then we're gonna bring the baler out here, because I should be able to get the baler going right behind this guy. Which means I do need to shut down one of these auto drive courses, which should be fine. Back this guy up a bit. Ooh, we're stuck in the ceiling here. Where's my mouse? And where should I leave this feed wagon? I think I'll leave it in the grass just to my right here. So let's do this, and then we'll just back ourselves up right here. Should be out of the way here, I think. And then before I forget, actually, I'm going to copy that same course into the 4440 here. We'll use it when we need to, but what this should do for me is having all of our different guys use the same course should help with the performance of the game, rather than having a whole bunch of different courses going at the same time. If everybody's sharing a single course play course, I think performance-wise it's going to be a bit better, because course play only has to keep all of those nodes for the course loaded up once. And ideally that'll keep our frame rates high, nice and toasty. I have noticed that we have seen some dips in FPS on this map, especially since I've started playing again. I don't know if I've got some chunky mods on here or something that need to be optimized, but it's definitely something I've noticed getting back into Farm Sim, is that I have a hard time maintaining a 60 FPS even with having a fairly killer PC. Now it looks like I do have a single grass bale still in here, or most of a grass bale. That's all right. I'm going to go ahead and just run this baler out to the field here, and I'm really hoping that by the time I get out there with the baler, that we're ready to get that windrower started, because it'd be really nice to get all the machines going at the same time here out in the field. If I can line it up in the right way, maybe I could even get a screenshot with all of this equipment going at the same time. That might be a lot of fun. We'll have to see. And here we are, the swathers coming over the hill now. Perfect timing, if I do say so myself. So we're gonna let these guys just get ahead a little bit here and figure out where they're gonna start doing up-down rows before we jump in behind them with the windrower. Oops, it was already running. I'm gonna go ahead and unfold this thing though while we get ourselves into position. I'm not sure exactly where they're gonna start off here. I'm kind of watching down there, and it looks like he's still following the headland, but I'm guessing he's just gonna go to the far edge of that field and start working his way down here. Yeah, it looks like he's good to go. So with that guy turning into a row down here, I'm feeling like it's time to hit start. So I'm gonna, oh, really? You're gonna fold yourself back up just to drive up there? Okay, well, we could use a little bit more of a lead with the mowers, I suppose, still. So here you go, do your thing. And I'm gonna jump in right behind him with the baler here, and we'll be doing the same thing. I'm just looking to see if this thing is actually wide enough like I thought it would be. It is, and it should handle the turns and everything. Oof, that is quite the windrow. I'm gonna get lined up just a little bit better here, since that windrow starts a little earlier than I was anticipating. And I'm gonna set my pickup down. First waypoint, go. Oh, and it converted all that grass into hay already. That's all right. And he's off, doing 10, 11 miles an hour. Perfect. And the windrower does 9, so the baler will catch up with him eventually, which is fine. I'm liking this though, and it's the perfect width. This is looking good. All the equipment's matching up from a work with perspective. Realistically, I probably could come up with a better setup than 3 of these swathers, but I'm not too upset about it. We're getting things done, and the mowers are faster than the windrowers, so ideally, once they get going here, things will be good. I'm curious to see how fast that lead mower is going. Let me see if I can find it. We got so much equipment. It does mow at 15 here, 13 up the hill. Yeah, this is going to be great. It's going to outpace our windrower. So realistically, I could have started the windrower right behind the mowers right out of the gate, and things would have worked out just fine. I'll have to remember that for the next cutting. But as far as this cutting is concerned, I think we've got everything kind of moving and grooving. And this thing is a little bit off of the edge of that, so I think as we come by the other mower here, ideally the head of the mower isn't going to collide with the windrower. So this is kind of my last big test to make sure that everything is working effectively here. So I'm gonna let this guy go by. We're gonna watch it and just make sure that our working widths and everything are aligned perfectly. Oh, look at that, not a problem in the world. I love it. And the mowers, or the balers back there behind us, picking all of this stuff up. And we're dropping bales quite regularly here, which I love to see. We're getting them in a nice straight row. I'm going to be able to just drive down here and pick all these up with the trailer. So much easier. Oh, I'm loving it. This is finally being able to afford the machinery to do things in a much more efficient way. I like it. This is going to make our grass work so much less painful than it's been in the past. Now, the one thing I was wondering is if this was a 15-meter applicator as well, life would have been perfect, but it's only 10, so we are still going to need to maintain a separate course for the slurry spreader. That's okay, not a big deal. With all these machines kind of going at it the way they are, we'll be able to get done with the grass spreading pretty quickly and transition into using the slurry spreader. We won't even have to wait for them to finish. I'll be able to dive into it pretty quickly here. I am going to have to change how many headland passes I do with this thing, though. That's my only thing I'm worried about. Maybe what we should have done with the mowers is do 2 full headland passes, because then I would have 5, 10, 15, 30 feet of headlands with the grass, and then I could do my 3 headland passes with this thing that I've been doing. Next time, I'm going to try and remember that. That'll be perfect if we do 2 headland passes with all 3 of those guys. However, this is our first time doing it. We're not used to crunching the numbers on things, but what I am excited about is just look at how fast we're crushing this grass stuff. We've got the guys already moving and picking stuff up. However, one thing I'm worried about is with us creating so many bales so quickly, we're going to have a lot of bales on the headlands. I need to go and grab the pickup here real quick and get this set up with the bale trailer, and we need to get out there and pick up the headland passes on the bales at least, so that we're not knocking those all over the place, running into things and having a general bad time with course play. Plus, I'm kind of curious just to get a count of how many bales we're getting now. With the windrow. I mean, obviously it's 3 times as many as we would have got just baling them up the way we were doing it before. But what does that actually equate to? How does it look when we start putting them on a trailer? All that good stuff. And let's see, put her into operating position, and then we'll continue down the line here and get us some bales. I was about to say something about being surprised that the windrower hasn't come down the second pass here yet, but I forget it's going all the way around the field first. Hopefully the machines don't collide with each other down on the other end here when they come by on the headland. It looks like we might have some collisions down here right now. Did we already run into a bale? Yeah, that's what's going on. This is why we got to get down here and pick up the bales. It's slowing everything down with these mowers. They're no longer running in unison, which is a little disappointing. I was actually kind of liking, seeing them all lined up side by side as they went up and down the rows. Maybe we'll have to park ourselves in front of the lead one and give the others a chance to catch up here in a second. But yeah, we've got 15 bales already. I haven't even made my way around the headland. Somebody's blocked by an object. I don't know if that's these 2 guys figuring things out or if we've got a collision on the other end of the field here now. I'm probably not going to actually make it to the other end of the field. We're going to have so many bales off of the headland here, which is great. We'll see. It's so much easier picking up these bales this way, though, because they're dropping more regularly. I feel like it's actually worth it to just drive on the up-down row and pick the bales up as we go. I'm going to save myself a couple bales of capacity so that I can move things around on the headland here, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll just pick up what we got, and I'll go grab the last couple by hand if they're blocking somebody. We've only got enough room for 2 more bales here. My goodness, it's crazy how good this is working out for us. And yeah, it looks like we did end up colliding down here. What do we got going on? We've got everything running into everything. Oh boy. I'm going to stop the SWAT there because I feel like this is one that I can figure out where it goes. And then I'm going to grab this guy because this guy's actually shut off right now. And it looks like these guys are all confused. So I'm going to try and scooch past and then start this guy off on nearest waypoint right here. and then the baler's following right behind. And then I need to get this guy going before they catch up. Oh no, they're catching up. Nearest waypoint, one left. Hang on, stop. And then let's grab this guy real quick. Okay, he's figuring it out. Let me get the left guy to go next. He needs to be right here. And then the guy in the center needs to be right now. Oh, where are you going? You're... Oh my goodness. This hill is something else. Center is right here. No. Oh, he's trying to go to the first waypoint. That's why. Nearest. Center. Go. And then this guy needs to be the last one here in the line of guys. I'm going to grab the mower. I'm going to just grab this little bit here. I'm hoping the windrower will fix this when it comes back around. And then I need nearest waypoint. And we're on the right side. Perfect. I'm just going to back myself up here a little bit and then say, nope, you grabbed the wrong line. And go. Nope, you grabbed the wrong line again. Stop. It should not be this hard. Hopefully, we don't run into any more problems like that now that we've gotten this all sorted out. And that means let's get this group of hay bales up to the silo so we can start making some feed again. And I will check in on where we're at with everything. I've got the time set on 1x. Normally I'd be running the time. We've got 4 days to do all these jobs, but I just wanted to kind of give myself a little bit of break from having to feed the animals nonstop while we got this all kicked off. So I think this is the best way to handle that. Move this on over here, drop it down, hop on out, and make sure we shovel the rest of these in. And just like that, we're on to the next batch of bales. Now, luckily, with the way things are, I don't have to keep up with the bales outside of. I want to pick that one last bale on the headland up there because knowing my workers, it's going to cause a problem. Honestly, those swathers are just not that wide, so the chances of somebody running into this bale are pretty high. And we do need to put the sack into operating position to pick up the bales. There we go. And we should finally be back off to the races. Now, I want these other mowers to catch up. I'd like them to stay kind of close together so that they're not getting too far spread apart. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use my trailer here as a roadblock, and I'm going to hopefully he'll detect me and stop for a second, and we'll get these other mowers to catch up here a little bit, and then everything will kind of be running a little bit closer together. I won't lie, it's partially because I want the screenshot of all 3 mowers moving together here. So this is probably going to be a great place to wrap up today's video. I've really enjoyed moving the time forward. I'm super loving the fact that we finally have our financial situation all sorted out. We've got a lot of new equipment on the farm now, and things are really starting to look up, so I can't wait to jump into the rest of it. And it is July, so next episode, I gotta remember, we gotta sell those soybeans and see what kind of money we're gonna make. Not that it's a big surprise, the amount of money is right there in the stock checker window thing, but you know, it's still fun to sell crops and make money. Hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, hit that like button. That's all for today. Kedrick out.